Okay, great. Okay, so everybody should mute themselves. Here we go. We're getting started, and this is going to be a product training 101. This is truly what every distributor needs, especially in America and Jamaica and all the other countries that are on right now. It's going to be kind of aimed towards America, but you guys, your numbers aren't that much more off than America. So here we go. So let's get started with the facts about Herbalife Nutrition first, okay? Because this is important that you guys have the facts, and you're going to utilize these facts as we go along. And I'll show you how that's going to happen. So first, number one fact. Herbalife started in February 1st, 1980. So we're over 39 years old. Number two, one man, Mark Hughes, who is 24 years old, is the one that started the company. Actually, he was 24 in 1 month because his birthday is January 1st. And I'm going to give you the company's growth, which I think is really important for all of you to know. So the company's growth, the first year was basically just the LA Orange County area. That was it. And did $2 million in business. Write that down. Second year, expanded into Texas, Denver, Boston, Chicago. And the second year, we did 10 million. Third year, we hit 58 million. Fourth year, we hit 140 million. Fifth year, we hit $512 million, over $500 million in our fifth year. So which was 1984. And we were known as the fastest growing company in American business history at a growth rate, write this down, 109,510%. Number three fact, we've now expanded into 94 countries worldwide. Number four fact, we have the #1 healthy meal, protein meal shake in the world. Number five fact, our best year yet was 2018 at $7.7 billion. But truly, when you guys end up hearing what we're about to talk about, you're going to see that 7.7 billion needs to be done just in the US alone. So why? Why has all of this happened to Herbalife Nutrition? There's only one reason why, and you need to write it down. And it's the star of Herbalife Nutrition, which is the product. So we're helping people be happier, healthier, we help them look better, and we help them feel better. Let me ask you guys a question. How many people do you know want to look worse, feel worse, be unhealthy, and not be happy? Right? Zero. So look at our market. Our market is called everybody. Okay, that is our market. Okay? People want to know just three things. Write this down. Anybody you talk to, really the question in the back of their head is going to be one of these three questions. Number one, does it work? I'll go back and answer these, but I'm going to first lay it out. So number one, does it work? Number two, is it safe? Number three, who can use it? Everybody. So number one, does it work? Okay, we have 39 years of results. Now, if we were around for 39 days, 39 weeks, or maybe even 39 months, that might be a question. But when you're around for 39 years, it's the result. So here's the most powerful result. Write this down. It's your personal result. And then other people's results. So you've got a vast load of results that you need to share with people. Make sure you've muted yourself. So there's no background noise. So the question, is it safe? There is two ways I want to answer this. Okay, where is that background coming from, Nikisha? Who is not muted? Maybe somebody called it. Dion is not muted. I need Dion muted. And I need, what is his name? I need Fitzroy and Jordan also be muted. There. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. Because as you can tell, I'm flying through this. Okay, so number 2, is it safe? So there's 2 ways I'm going to answer this. The first one is go back and look at the fact number 3. 94 countries. What does that mean? That means 94 countries had to approve this product before it went into that product, that it was safe, deemed safe for that country to take in. Okay? So that's one way I'm going to state it. Another way that I'm going to state it, is it's safe, is you look at what's called the mega dosage law. The mega dosage law states that if there's too much of anything in any of our products, it cannot be produced, period. Okay? And then number 3, who can use it? That is answered by what's called the labeling laws that we in the US and most other countries have to abide by. Labeling laws states who can use it. So you always want to go back to the facts versus somebody's opinion. People can say stuff like, oh, I heard that if you take this, it's going to, you know, make you grow a 3rd arm. I mean, people will have unbelievable, unbelievable things that they will give their opinion to. Now, how do you fight an opinion? Number 1, and the most powerful, and I want you to write this down, is your own personal use. Nobody can take that away from you. They can have an opinion about everything else, but they cannot have an opinion about your own personal results. But number 2 is the facts. And what I just gave you in the first 5 facts is enough to realize what you've got that stands behind you. Okay. So now I'm going to give you guys some good news, and I'm going to give you guys some bad news. So I'm going to give you the good news first. The good news is this. The last 100 years, the average life expectancy has almost doubled from age 40 to 78.5 years old. Okay? The bad news is that the last 10 years of life, the average person has a chronic debilitating disease with an average of using 5 different prescription medications. So they're living longer, but not better. So it's the quantity of life, but where is the quality of life? Quality of life is so much more. So why is that? You're going to see why in a moment. Now there's 2, it's amazing. Now there's only 2 causes that causes almost 50% of all deaths in the United States. 2 major killers. Number 1, heart disease. Number 2 is cancer. Those 2 make up almost 50% of all deaths in the US. Now, 70% of those deaths, of that 50%, was preventable if they would have just changed one area in their life. And I'm going to show you what that is in just a moment. So, in ranking the healthiest countries in the world, okay, they rank the healthiest countries in the world, and we've got in the United States the most food supply, and we're supposed to be the most medically advanced country in the world, number 1 in both of those. Yet, the United States ranks 35th, okay, the 35th country as far as healthiest. So why? You're going to see that in a moment also, okay? Now, this is amazing. The U.S. shows up much higher in this category, but it's a category you really don't want to be showing up high in. But the U.S. has moved up to number 12 in the most obese countries around the world. The United States is number 12, okay? And you're going to see why in a moment. So what you want to do is you want to take out a new clean piece of paper and put a line down the middle of it. And on one side, I want you to write American consumption. Americans' consumption. And on the other side, I want you to write Herbalife Nutrition, core products, which is Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. Now, this is amazing. So what you want to do is you want to put an arrow pointing up under, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna put this on a piece of paper. I don't want to show you my paper because you guys are gonna read all the answers. And I'm not gonna let you look ahead. So, what you want to do is you want to do, okay, this is Americans, right? Then boom, and this is Herbalife Nutrition, core products, Formula 1, 2, and 3, okay? So, what is the American consumption too high in? What do Americans consume that it's too high in? I would normally let you guys talk back, but we don't have time. So sugar, let's go with sugar. Americans take in too much sugar. This is an amazing fact, what I'm about to tell you right now. The average American takes in, write this down, 152 pounds of sugar per year. That is almost 1 cup of sugar per day. Okay? Now, how much white sugar does your body need for health to live? The answer is 0, nada, zilch, zilch. Okay? And they've now linked certain cancer and heart disease and, of course, obesity to too much sugar intake. The next, put it underneath that arrow, put another arrow pointing up. Another thing that Americans consume too much of is fat. Okay? Saturated fat, not unsaturated, but saturated fat. The average American will take in 85 pounds of saturated fat per year. Do you know how much your body needs to live with saturated fat? How much your body requires for health? The answer is 0, nada, zilch. They have now linked certain cancers and of course, heart disease is linked to too much fat in the diet. Breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, those cancers have been linked to too much fat in the diet. So now you guys are kind of seeing why in the United States, 50% of all deaths are created by those two health problems right there. Now salt, this is amazing. Put too much salt, so make an arrow going up. The average American will take in 124 pounds of salt per year. Now, they just lowered what the recommended daily allowance is here in the United States, and they lowered that to 1,500 milligrams per day. Now, what's so amazing about that? If you actually had 1,500 milligrams of salt, which is what the RDA is saying that, you know, that's the maximum amount an American should have. Do you know what that comes out to be in a year? 1.2 pounds of salt per year, yet the average American is taking in 124 pounds a year. Next, what are they taking too much in? Red meat. Okay, for health, just for health, doesn't matter if you're losing weight or whatever, just for health, what is recommended is that you eat if you're going to eat meat, have a 4-legged animal once a week and a two-legged animal, or what swims in the ocean or in the lake or in water, the rest of the week. Okay, next, what else is taking in too much of? Americans take in too many calories. Too many calories, and you can see that with the amount of fat and sugar that the average American takes in. Next, that they're taking too much of is additives, preservatives, colorings. they've already linked cancer causing, you know, in soda that makes the soda brown, that they color it, you know, they use the coloring, the caramel coloring. They've already linked that to cancer. So that is what this is. Whoever's got their microphone on, please turn it off. So on this side, where you've got all your arrows going up, right? Too high. Okay, that's too high in, right? Now, let's go with what Americans are not taking enough of. Okay, so I'll show you my paper. I've just figured out how to do this. Okay, the average American does not take in the right amount of vitamins and minerals. So they're low in vitamins and minerals. You can't see this though. There, vitamins and minerals. They're too low in vitamin minerals, and that's because of the depletion of the food and how food is picked before it's ripe. Food is, the farmers keep using the same soil, which will pull out certain nutrients, and so then it gets depleted of those rich nutrients, and they don't rotate the crops. So our food is very deficient, just food, and then people aren't really good at taking nutritional supplements. What else is America taking in too low of? Dietary fiber, write that down. Fiber is too low. Next, what else do they consume that's too low? They don't consume the right amount of water intake for the body. And what else is America not good at? They're not good at activity of moving and grooving. They're low in that. And then what else is America not good at? Or what do they do too much of? They are negative thinkers. The average person isn't. They have more negative thoughts throughout the day than positive thoughts. Okay? So now let's look at Herbalife Nutrition. Okay? Just in the core product, Formula 1, 2, and 3, right? Number 1, when you look at, you go straight across, here's your sugar, go straight across. The amount of natural sweetener that we have in 2 scoops of formula number 1, it's less than the natural sweetener of a half an apple. So sometimes people go, oh, I'm diabetic, I don't think I can take that. Well, what you got to realize, if they can eat a half an apple, they can take our product. Okay? Next, when it comes to fat, put the arrow going down, by the way. When it comes to sugar, arrow going down. Next, fat, arrow going down. There is 0 saturated fat in Herbalife Healthy Meal Formula 1. What it does have is what the body needs, which is unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat is what helps is very good for the brain, but it also is what helps keep your skin tight as you lose weight. That's why you'll see people that have lost a tremendous amount of weight, yet they won't have the flabby, baggy skin when they're doing it in a healthy way using the product. Next, when it comes to salt, put the arrow down. It's constituted as a no-salt diet, actually. Not saying diet in the word of losing weight, diet in what you consume. Next, it's not an animal-based protein. It is a veggie source protein. So that is opposite. Next, next to too many calories, draw a line over, put a line going down. In the Healthy Meal Formula number 1, it only has 90 calories. Okay, so it's low in calories, and it is also low in additives, preservatives, and coloring. Okay, in fact, you know what's interesting? One reason why Herbalife has to put artificial flavoring, like on the French vanilla, is because when you take an actual soybean that comes from a field, and then you take something natural, like natural French vanilla flavoring, and you add that to a soybean, they have to call that as artificial flavoring, because if you go out in the field and pick a soybean, it does not taste like French vanilla or Dutch chocolate. So that is part of the labeling laws. But it doesn't mean that it is an artificial flavor. So it's mostly natural flavors that Herbalife has. Okay, next. On vitamins and minerals, put the arrow going up underneath Herbalife Nutrition Core, because with the Healthy Meal Formula 1 and Formula 2, it's like if you got 4,000 calories worth of nutrition in 2 servings of the Formula 1, and of course having your Formula 2 3 tablets a day. That's like getting 4,000 calories worth of nutrition for only 180 calories in a day. Next, on fiber, dietary fiber, put the arrow up. It's in the Healthy Meal Formula number 1, but also what I want to say, what I also would like to say is that an excellent source of fiber is the active fiber that Herbalife has, and it comes in the apple flavor and also unflavored. And to put 2 scoops of that into your healthy meal that will give you 10 grams of fiber just from the active fiber. And Americans taking way too low of fiber. In fact, they now say instead of just 35 grams of fiber that people need, it's more like 40 to 50 grams of fiber that people need for intestinal health. Okay, next, we're coming to water. So in Herbalife, what we recommend, and have the arrow going up, is you want to take half your body weight in ounces, and that's what your body needs just for good health. Next, activity, movement, and grooving. In Herbalife, we have what's called the 80-20 rule. Now, 80% is the nutrition of the Formula 1, 2, and 3. 20% rule, and then, of course, what you eat. The 20% rule is about moving and grooving and getting your heart rate pumping, so you're not so sudden. And the next thing is when it comes to thinking, it's called positive mindset in Herbalife is what we promote. So put the arrow up and put a happy face and put positive mindset. So when you look at your arrows and you look at what Americans consume and what we consume in Herbalife, you can see that it's the exact opposite of what Americans consume that is creating so many health problems. That is why naturally people start getting healthy when they start eliminating all that excess sugar, all that excess fat, all that excess salt, all that excess red meat, all that excess calories, the additives and preservatives. And you start feeding your 100 trillion cells vitamins, minerals, dietary fiber, the right amount of protein, the unsaturated fat, and all the healthy things that are in just the Formula 1, 2, and 3. The formula, okay. So where are we? Okay, I went pretty fast so far, eh? I would like to see, we're gonna go to the next part here, but I'd like to open it up here for a minute, Nikisha, so if anybody has any questions so far, or any comments so far of what we've covered. Does anybody want to raise their hand if they've got a question? David, you always have something to say.
You know what?
I missed you.
All I can tell you is this is very valuable information, very valuable. I love it.
Have you ever heard it before? David, go back on. Go back on and ask you a question. Have you ever heard this information? Have you ever heard this information before?
The truth of the matter is that I was trained by directly by a millionaire team, and a lot of this information I actually did hear before.
Do you know why?
But a lot of people.
That was in the quick start. That was in when Herbalife used to do quick start. Remember, we used to have the quick start program. They took my training and they made it quick start. Yeah, that was from me. Mary Holloway took my training and made it into the quick start, which was on the the training tape that I did back in the 90s.
Wow.
That's why you've heard this before, but there's a twist to it. There's a twist to it because I updated it to the modern day. of what's actually happening now. But yeah, that quick start training was my training.
Amazing. Amazing. That's incredible.
That's why you've heard it before, because I'm the only one that's ever taught this before. Other than
Okay.
Dr. Katzen in the 80s, and that's who I got the information from, a lot of this. And then I've added to it over the years. But what I did is I took this information and I made it into distributor language. That's what I did. Okay, so go ahead and you can mute yourself again. Does anybody else have any questions? Raise your hand if you've got a question. I think they don't have any questions. Okay, so now.
I do have a question.
Is that Dion?
Gloria.
Gloria. Okay, I knew it was going to be one or the other.
Okay, I understand perfectly about the core nutrition, but my question is, if somebody have like a lot of weight and the regular shake with water is not filling them up, do we talk then about the protein, or that will come along with the usage and everything?
Okay, so I've given a training, I believe, on the 5 things that the body needs, which is that the right amount of protein that they need, but they need, when they have a lot of weight to lose, number one, how much weight are you talking about? Like 100 pounds?
300 pounds.
Okay, so that's somebody that needs to be having the shake 3 times a day, and eating a meal plus having 3 protein snacks.
Okay.
So that's and so they do need the PDM or the Select. They do need to add more protein because their body requires more protein.
Correct.
Because let's go back to the chart, right? Here's my chart. Go back to my chart of about the protein for the body, and I talked about the meat. So if you want the number for that, you do half your body weight in protein, but that's going to be too high for that person because that person weighs too much. So that's why I'm suggesting what I just suggested, which is taking 2 scoops of that with 2 to 3 to 4 scoops of the
PDM.
PDM, yes.
Okay.
Along with it, and having it 3 times a day, eating a healthy meal, and also having 3 healthy protein snacks.
Okay.
And that should do it for them. Now, if it doesn't, then you come back and you tell me next week, and then I'll tell you what you need to do. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody else have a question? That was a very good question. Okay. Okay, if you don't, we're going to mute and go forward. Okay. So,
I think Linda has a question.
What I want to talk about right now, this is what I'm going to talk about, and this is very important for that person also that is so overweight. I love this picture. Do you see this picture? This is the picture of the intestinal tract in the small intestine. There's a the healthy intestinal tract is on this side. And what I'm going to show you on this, and David, this is new. I didn't do this before. I talked about it, but I didn't show this great picture. Okay, so this is a healthy small intestinal tract. And you can see up close, you can see the villi. There's a lot of, these are the villi, the finger-like protrusions. These are villi. And this is a healthy intestinal tract. This is the way most Americans' intestinal tract looks, which these toxins are in there. The white stuff is yeast. The yellow stuff is parasites. And there's also intestinal deterioration, which can lead to what's called leaky gut. So your intestinal tract is 30 feet, or okay, it's 30 feet long from the beginning of your mouth until the very end where everything comes out, right? So So it's 30 feet long. So once it goes through the stomach, it goes into the intestinal tract, and the small intestine is about 21 feet, and the colon is 5 feet long. So just the small intestine alone, if you were to do the surface area of just the small intestines, it would cover the surface of a tennis court. Okay, so that's pretty big, packed inside our body. So it can start getting clogged, mucousy with cow products, which can create a thick mucus lining along the intestinal walls, so you're not absorbing the nutrition. So let's talk about the digestive products that are very important. So number one, herbal aloe. The reason why that is so important is a couple of reasons. It doesn't, everything it touches in the whole intestinal tract, of all 30 feet of the intestinal tract, it helps with. But it also helps with detoxification, helps with the liver to help detoxify. And the liver, by the way, write this down, has 500 functions that it does daily, which is incredible. And it's the heaviest, largest organ other than the skin. So a liver weighs about 3 pounds. And what can happen is this, is there's so much pollution, not only in the food, but in the air, in the water, in secondhand smoke, in, you know, then people will, you know, take, so it's not only food, but it's the agricultural, all the stuff they spray on the food, also medications, all these things, pollution, all these things is very hard on the body. So this shows you this is really a great little thing. I love this little guy, and I'll use him another time. But so it's very important that you do 2 things for the body for health. Number 1, help detoxify it. Number 2, give it optimal nutrition and healthy, clean water and healthy, clean food as much as possible to help the body to restore its own health. So it's not that Herbalife cures anything. What Herbalife does is actually give the body what it needs, and the body knows what to do with it. Okay? So the herbal aloe is very important for digestive health. It has live enzymes in there. So it's really important to have the herbal aloe. Also, like I said, the active fiber. The active fiber is actually what's called a prebiotic. Okay, it's a prebiotic. It actually helps feed the good, healthy bacteria that's in the intestinal tract. And then we've got Simply Probiotic, which helps put the good, healthy bacteria back in the intestinal tract to help fight. And the reason why Simply Probiotic is so incredible is that it is each one of the billion of active, live, healthy bacteria actually has a protein coating over it, so it can actually go through the stomach and go through the harsh chemicals of hydrochloric acid, which will burn off almost all other probiotics that are out there, to where when you take other people's probiotics, because they don't have the specialized casing, it actually killed it all before it got to the intestinal tract where it needs to populate. So with Herbalife, it doesn't release until it gets into the small intestine. And that's why the Simply Probiotic is so incredible. And your what I learned very early on, write this down, all health and disease begin and end in the intestinal tract. Because if you can't absorb the nutrition, then you're starving the 100 trillion cells that you have. If you can't detoxify it, then it's just getting more and more gunked up. So the first and foremost important system of the body is truly the digestive tract. And look at how much Americans are on antacid. How much constipation they have because they're not drinking the right amount of water, because they're not taking in the right amount of fiber. So you can see why Herbalife and the health benefits of giving what the body needs so the body can do what it needs to do is so important. The 21-day AM/PM product, so important also to do 4 times a year. You do it in the spring, summer, fall, and winter, 4 times a year. Okay, and that's because it will help with like scrubbing that out. By the way, when you have a lot of good dietary fiber that you're actually eating, that is like little scrubbing sponges that are scrubbing all that junk off the intestinal tract. And by the way, when you eat red meat, it takes a long time for that to actually be digested in the stomach. And when you don't have, you know, people are supposed to go okay, this might sound a little bit bad, but you guys need to understand what a healthy bowel movement is. Because most Americans don't know. They think if they go to the bathroom, I've had customers that thought if they went to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a week, they were doing good, okay? So you can have 3 to 15 pounds. The average person has 3 to 15 pounds of stuff sitting in their intestinal tract that is not being rotated out. And then what happens is it rots and it putrefies and it starts causing dis-ease in the colon area. That's why colon cancer is one of the major cancers in America, because there's not enough dietary fiber that people are eating. And then when you add in all the fat and all the sugar and all the salt and all that other stuff that I just told you about, you can understand why the health of the average American is not good. I also want to, okay, so we went through the herbal aloe, we went through the AM/PM, we went through the prebiotic, which is active fiber, and the probiotic, simply probiotic, and that is the digestive products. I'm doing this off the top of my head. So I think I covered it. If I missed something, throw it in for me. So I want to tell you also the 2 ways that Americans deal with their health when they get sick. Number 1 is most people end up going to what's called an allopathic doctor. What is allopathic? That is a regular MD. It's called allopathic medicine. Okay, and that's a normal, regular MD. So what does an allopathic doctor look at? They look at a symptom. It's called symptomatic medicine. They look at a symptom, and then they look at the medication to cover the symptom, to deal with just the symptom. Then there's what's called holistic health, where you look at the whole body instead of looking at it like a car. It's amazing to me that, you know, you got to have a lung doctor, a heart doctor, a brain doctor, an intestinal doctor, a female organ doctor. You know, I mean, come on. You're a whole person. One does not function without the other. So that was the question, like when Roe asked the question in the House of Champions about, well, this person has a weak pancreas. What do you do to help a weak pancreas? That's why I answered the question the way that I answered it, because if that pancreas is weak, there's that pancreas affects other things in the body. It affects the liver, it affects a lot of different things. So you can't just, it reminds me so much of going to, when you go for a car, you know, you can only go to one place to get a smog inspection or a tune-up. And then there's the tire place. And then when your engine is done, then you got to go to a specialist for parts of your engine, you know. But anyway, so a holistic approach is looking at the cause. It's dealing with causal therapy. Let's get to the cause of what's causing that problem. So when people are smoking, and they're having all that sugar, all that fat, all that salt, and then they wonder why they have high blood pressure, you know? Or why they're not feeling good, why they have headaches. Maybe they drink cow's milk and they're eating gluten, and the doctor just looks at the symptom, not the cause. Does that make sense to all of you?
Yep.
So when you're dealing with the whole body, the 100 trillion cells that we're made up of, every single one of them needs good nutrition. And that is why these products can be used for everybody. Now, how do you use these products for kids?
Same way.
Okay, so I'm going to explain. So for kids, it goes by body weight as far as the Formula 1. And what you need to use is you need to use a tablespoon and not the scooper. So for 80-pound child, you'd have a tablespoon of the Formula 1. So for 40 pounds, that would mean half a tablespoon. 20 pounds means a quarter of a tablespoon, right? So that's how you use the Formula 1. For kids 12 on up, 14 on up, use regular dosage. Formula 2, you use 1/3. 1/3 for kids that are, you want to start them like at age, like 5 to 8, use 1/3. From 8 to 12, use 2/3. And 14 on up, use full dose. So that's with a vitamin, mineral, and with the protein. Now, when it comes to the herbal type products, like the Relax Now, the Sleep Now, I've had people use the Relax Now and Sleep Now on kids that were 2 years old that had a really hard, 2 and 3 years old that had a really hard time sleeping, and they'd crush it up and put it in their food. And oh my gosh, they were in there every single month making sure they had what their child needed so they could sleep. So, but there's also products that the kids, and by the way, active fiber is fine for them to have because it's just dietary fiber, and it's 5 grams of dietary fiber per scoop. But it's not like a child needs cellulose or Thermobond or Total Control. Herbal aloe, they can drink. It's absolutely great for them to drink, no problem. Extra Cal, you would do the same as the 1/3, the 2/3, and then the full dose. I think that so who needs nutrition?
Everybody.
Okay, and how you write that? Everybody. Everybody needs nutrition. Okay, so who can use the products? Everybody. Unless they have some, like on like the night work, right? If you're using I think it's called I don't know if it's called a statin, but if you're on something that thins your blood, then you've got to be more careful and talk to the doctor about it, because they've got to watch you. Because what the Nightworks does is it opens up the blood vessels so more blood can flow through. So if you're on a blood thinner and then you open up the blood vessel to let the blood flow through, and it's thinned out blood, it can make you a little dizzy. You understand? You see what I'm saying? So, but other than that, okay, Herbal Lifeline is missing. Well, hon, I can't go through every product. That's when I would talk about the cardiovascular. But the Herbal Lifeline is more than cardiovascular. The omega-3s that are in there, now that you got me talking on it, First of all, Herbal Lifeline was the very first omega-3 product ever on the market. And Dr. Pygott is the one that did the research on omega-3s, and he looked at the American Eskimo diet, and they saw that they ate a very high-fat diet, but they had like no heart disease. But that's because they were having the omega-3 type fat, not saturated fat like in America. They were having the unsaturated fat that was healthy for them. So that is how the Herbal Lifeline came out, and Herbal Lifeline came out in 1983. And it was a couple years later that then the AMA said, oh, new discovery, omega-3 is good for cardiovascular. And Herbalife had already had it for 2 to 3 years already. So, but omega-3s are very important for brain function. So if you've got anybody with dementia, by the way, if you have somebody that has dementia, I would highly suggest getting them off gluten. The reason why is gluten, nothing is supposed to go through the blood-brain barrier, yet gluten can go through the blood-brain barrier, and that's why it shows so many different symptoms in the body, because it's like having a brain allergy. By the way, I have never done the 25-question quiz with all of you or explained much about gluten, and I had promised you guys that I would. And if you guys have 10 more minutes, because we got a little bit derailed today with having to change. Thank you, Nikisha, for being so fast and so efficient. But I want to give you guys the 25-question quiz. I just did it today in the Nutrition Club with a lady, and it's 1 out of 3 people in America have a gluten sensitivity. Did you hear that? 1 out of 3. So a lot of people that you run into, you get them on the products normally. Get them getting results. If they are stuck in getting results, that's when I jump into my 25-question gluten test. So get a brand new piece of paper, do 1 through 25. We're going to do this very quickly. I want to time it and see how fast I can do this, because Herbalife has allowed me to do this in training, and I've just got to say it in a certain way. So I'm going to practice. But Herbalife is allowing this, and I'll tell you what, when I did this in LA, oh my gosh, 2,000 people there. I did this 25-question quiz, and I asked how many, if you had 5 or more yeses, raise your hand. Oh my gosh, you guys, 85% of that room raised their hand and blew me away. So people that have weight problems, I have found in when I did a lot of the weight loss challenges, and I did this in my challenge class, I found that 2 out of 3 people had a gluten sensitivity, because it really affects weight. So this is an absolute lifesaver, and it can also help you as far as getting off that plateau or helping your customers. So this is part of the tips and tricks for weight loss. So here we go. I'm going to read these. I'm going to explain it a little bit. Just write yes or no. And I want you to think about this, not using the Herbalife product. How you feel without using the Herbalife product. Okay, because that's a true test. Okay, so here we go. Number 1. And then my phone goes. Are you tired 15 to 20 minutes after you eat? Just write a Y or an N. Y for yes, N for no. Number 2, do you have brain fog or foggy thinking? Number 3, do you wake up tired in the morning even though you slept through the night? Number 4, do you wake up in the middle of the night and have a hard time going back to sleep? Number 5, do you have a hard time falling asleep at night when you first get in bed? By the way, how this 25-question quiz came about is I am 22 out of these 25. I'm the one that wrote these questions, because I had 22 of these, and my customers, as I would tell them this, they would tell me 3 more things, and I found it linked to gluten sensitivity. Okay, number 6. Do you have a hoarse voice for a prolonged period of time, even though you do not have laryngitis? Number 7, do you have itchy skin where you itch it so much that it can even open up? Number 8, do you have a runny nose in the morning, even though you don't have a cold? Like you're just standing there and all of a sudden your nose just starts running. Number 10, do you forget what you wanted in the next room? So this is where you think, okay, I want to go get my hairbrush. It's in the living room. Then you walk into the living room and you think, shoot, what am I in here for? Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. I do that like 20 times a day. Number 11, do you have moodiness? Number 12, is the whites of your eyes red at times, even though you're not tired and you haven't been drinking alcohol? Number 13, do you mix up the words that you're trying to say? So you're trying to say one child's name and you say another, as an example. Number 14, do you have any digestive issues? Number 15, is it impossible for you to lose weight no matter what you're doing, even though you're doing it exactly right, you're not cheating at all, and you can't lose weight? Where you gain 1 pound 1 week and lose 2 pounds the next, and it just keeps going back and forth like a yo-yo. Number 16, do you have depression? Number 17, do you get little bumps on your fingers or your legs or your feet that are filled with water, and then you pop them and then they itch really bad? Number 18, do you get frequent headaches for no apparent reason? Or you feel like it's not like exactly a headache, but it feels like a headache is about to come on. 19, do you have restless leg syndrome? That means where you sit, you'll be sitting in a chair and you have to bounce your leg up and down, or you are laying in bed and you just keep stretching and stretching and stretching. Number 20, does your hair grow very, very, very slowly? Number 21, do you bruise easily? That means where you're putting on your clothes and you're like, shoot, where'd that bruise come from? Number 22, does it take a long time for bruises to heal? More than 2 to 3 days. Number 23, do you have anemia where you get cold easily? Number 24, are you hungry all day long even though you've eaten? And number 25, if somebody goes to rub your shoulders to massage it, it feels like they're pressing extremely hard even though they're barely touching you. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to count up all your yeses real quickly. By the way, I read that in 4 minutes. So add it up, how many you got, and I want you to write a number on your paper real big of how many yeses you got, and I want you to put it up to the camera so I can see what your numbers are. So count them out. Put yourself, Kara, put yourself, and Erez. Okay. Put your, let me see, write it big. Write the number big so I can see it. Write it really big on the paper and hold it there so I can see. Okay, put it up to the camera so I can see. How many did you get, Jordan? Only 2? 10? I can't see. You only got 2 yeses, 4 yeses, okay? Vera, how many did you get? You got to, what's the number? I can't see the number. Write it big. You got 7, okay? You got 2, Inez. Kara, how many did you get? Nat, how many did you get? I just want to know. Sylvia Q, how many did you get? Put 4. Okay, that's not bad. Glinda, how many did you get? Did you get 8, Glinda? Okay. Dion, how many did you get? I can't see, Dion. It needs to go up higher. I can't hear you either. Dion, come on and tell me. I can't see nor hear you.
You got 18.
18, Dion. Okay, yes. I beat you. I got 22, but I knew that'd be somebody high. And then Nikisha, how many did you get? Nikisha. Pat, how many did you get?
7. 7.
Pat got 7. 3. Okay. David, how many did you get? 3.
Nikisha got 7.
Nikisha. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. Anybody that got 5 or more. Okay, go back and put yourself on hold. If you got 5 or more, here's what I highly suggest you do. You need to go off gluten for 4 days. 4 days, 100% off, 100% off. And see how you feel. So I'm just going to tell you what in California, we have a store called Trader Joe's. It's a national chain. They have 300 items that is gluten-free. You can go into Trader Joe's or go online and get their gluten-free list, circle the things you want to shop for, and prepare yourself. Now, I'm going to tell you real quickly what is gluten-free. So write this down. What is gluten-free is corn, eggs, cheese, fruit, veggies, meat, rice, potato, beans. So what is gluten? Gluten is wheat. So that means bread, flour tortillas, and what you'll want to do, and normally, if you have a gluten sensitivity, Dion, you're going to find that that's what you crave is bread or things like that actually have wheat, because when you have a sensitivity to it, it's amazing how much you crave it. But go 4 days, 100% off. By the way, the average person, when they get off gluten, in 7 days will lose anywhere from 3 to 10 pounds. I actually lost 10 pounds in 7 days when I got off of gluten. So what's so great is Herbalife has so many gluten-free products, but there is 2 that do have gluten. That's the cookies and cream, because it does have real cookie in it, Oreo cookie in it. So that's where the wheat's coming from. And then mint chocolate also has gluten. So those 2 are the ones that you do not want to use if you've got 5 or more. So if you do have restless legs, here's your tip. Get off of cow's milk along with the gluten. So that means that yogurt, cottage cheese, ice cream that is cow-based, cheese that is cow-based, and regular milk that you drink. And what I found is once I was off of gluten and dairy for 2 days, 48 hours, my restless legs went away, and I had had it for years and didn't know I did have it till it was gone. I didn't. Anyway, so, and then what you do is you're going to find that when you go back to having gluten, see how you feel, because if you guys answered yes to where you get tired 15 to 20 minutes after you eat, think about this. And there's eight known allergens, that are the most common allergens, which is, write these down. Let's see if I can do it off the top of my head. Eggs, milk, soy, peanuts, gluten, corn, eggs. I might have already said eggs. And something else. But I did pretty good. So you might find out, like for myself, with having such a high sensitivity, which was 22 out of the 25, I found that I have a soy, peanuts, cow's milk, and gluten. And actually eggs if I eat too many of them. What's great news for me is, because I've been off gluten for so long, and dairy for so long, and cow's milk for so long, and all those things for so long, after you get it out of your system and cleaned out and detoxified, you can have it every so often. It will not affect you, or it didn't affect me like it used to. But when you have a number like an 18, it'll be really great to see what happens with your weight, Dion. I bet you've been having, let me go back to where you are, Dion. Dion, just shake your head yes or no. Have you been having problem getting off a plateau? Yes, this is a plateau breaker is exactly what this is. And when you break that plateau and start getting some results like quickly and your energy, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable how great you feel. I haven't been able to shut up about it since, right? So what's great is Herbalife has a lot of gluten-free products, but then what's interesting is for me, I could not take liftoff because liftoff will make me tired. And what I believe, but I need to ask Herbalife, is that, see, because gluten can be a binding agent. So they put gluten in a thickening agent also. So they put gluten in a lot of things like ketchup, toothpaste. That gluten also can be a thickening agent in lotions. And if you put a lotion on and then you find yourself having a sensitivity like one of those 25 things, it can be because the lotion actually goes through your skin and into your bloodstream, and so then that gluten can enter you that way. So I just want to educate you guys on this because someone like Dion and also Nikisha, the ones that are over 5, you'll see. But prepare yourself really well before you do the 4 days. And you got to be 100%. It's not even like you can take a bite. It will blow everything. So you got to be 100% just to test yourself, weigh yourself before you start, the day you start, and then weigh after the 4th day. So on the 5th day, weigh again and just see where your weight is at also. But the biggest thing is you'll feel a difference on those yeses and nos. I have found that the majority of people within 48 hours, and to get those 18 turning over to no's instead of yeses, how much better is that going to make you feel, Dion? You think you talk now, girl? You think you talk now? You will be talking, and you will be talking in your sleep, girl. So, and I got to tell you, I've only had one person ever answer yes to all 25. And that is Pat Klaus's daughter, Jeanette. And Jeanette, right, Pat? Right, Pat? Jeanette? And Jeanette had a
Billy Kay.
Billy Kay, sorry. Your other daughter's Jeanette. She just had a birthday. That's why she's on my mind. But Billy Kay answered 25 yeses. She was the first person I ever had that had 25 all yeses. Her health was a major disaster. And her weight was going up and up and up. I'm going to have to put a picture in and show you guys and show her results. But is she a brand new person, Pat, or what? Health-wise, weight-wise, what size has she gone from? Do you know? How many pounds she's lost now?
She's at 50 pounds that she's taken off.
50 pounds since she got off gluten, and this, oh my gosh, unbelievable results. But how much better she feels and how much more energy she has, and she doesn't have all the health problems that she had that she did.
One of the main problems that she had, Carla, was the migraine headaches.
Yes. And that's debilitating. And now she doesn't have that. She also, if I remember correctly, she also had a dairy sensitivity, cow's milk. So we caught more than just one sensitivity with her, but she was very high on the totem pole. So anyway, does anybody have any questions? And then we're ending. By the way, I did that whole thing in 15 minutes. Okay, David, I'm ready for you.
No, I just wanted to get a little clarity on the AM/PM product, because that was something I didn't really understand so much.
What you want to do is it's like a spring cleaning, fall cleaning, summer cleaning. It really works on cleaning the intestinal tract. So in a way that other products don't. So you do it 4 times a year. It's not something you use all the time. And you take 2 of the AM and 2 of the AM in the morning with a full glass of water, and 2 of the PM at night with a full glass of water. And one helps with moving stuff out. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know what I didn't tell you guys. What you'll notice, okay, when you have the right bowel movement happening. I told you I was going to tell you this and I forgot. I'm telling you, fluorescent lights really messed me up. But anyway, so here's the deal. The way a bowel movement should not be logs. It should be a Dairy Queen. It should be a soft served ice cream. Okay? And that is a normal bowel, is a soft serve ice cream cone. Think of that. You know how the soft serve works? That is the way that a healthy intestinal tract and a healthy bowel movement is. Most people have logs. Logs means there's not enough water and not enough fiber. So on the 21 day, let me just tell you what happened when I started the 21 day. I think it was about the 3rd or 4th day. And here's what happens. You go to the bathroom and you think you didn't really do anything, and then you turn around and go, holy moly, and like the water can all be filled. That's a healthy bowel. You guys, it's important to talk about.
So,
Yes.
so does that, I mean, that it sounds like that would really help you with weight loss as well.
Well, only because but so does the herbal aloe and drinking the right amount of water and the active fiber. It's totally different. So what it does is the PM part helps move the gunk out, and the AM part replenishes the colon. So it's a dual product. It's 2 in 1. It's a night and day. But I would not promote it for weight loss. Weight loss will naturally happen because, like I said, you can have 3 to 15 pounds of fecal matter just stuck in you. So if somebody says you're full of it, you might just well be.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you think about these things? They have all these things that people are doing. It has nothing to do with Herbalife, but you know, like drinking.
Colonic.
Yeah.
Like colonic.
Like that, or
coffee enemas.
Or no, but drinking certain things that basically flush your system. All
I can tell you is Herbalife naturally detoxifies the body when you use it right, and it rebuilds the body's cells. And that's exactly what you want to do. And there's the herbs in our product naturally help with natural detoxification process. Gently. The herbal aloe, natural detoxifier.
Every day I drink that.
People do a lot of crazy things, but our products, nobody can beat our products when you really understand how they work and when to use them and how to use it and how much to use them. Some people don't use enough. There's suggested amount, but sometimes people need just a little bit more to make the difference. So I think we covered it. At least we covered this part. We'll do part 2 next week. Oh, you got another question? Yes.
No, I just want to.
Okay, just a second. Let me have David finish up on that, and then I'll come over to you, Gloria, or Dion, whoever I got over there.
I just want to say that for me, I get my the products. A lot of them are liquid based, water based. So I get, the Herbalife makes it very easy for me to hydrate myself fully between the tea, the shakes, and the aloe, which I drink all day long. I don't know
any tea, shakes, and aloe in Herbalife, but I do know about a healthy meal, the herbal concentrates, and the herbal aloe. Those products I know. But I don't know about those products.
Okay.
By the way, no, but it's also about having the right amount of actual water. Like plain pure water.
Water.
Because that's what the cell is made of. So having a good amount of water is important too, not just having it in a herbal concentrated form.
What about aloe?
Herbal aloe in water.
In what? No, I'm saying in water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That's dandy. So, okay, now let's go over to Gloria, I think was going to ask me a question. Or Glenda.
Hi, Carla. My son was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Yes.
6 years ago. I was able to get him to use our products. You know, I get him to use them. I got him to use them enough to lose 60 pounds. He went from 180 to he went from 180 to 315 pounds.
Wow.
Now, if you know anything about schizophrenia, it's a moment by moment thing. And right now I can't get him to do the healthy meal, but he's faithful with doing the tablets and the tea and the herbal concentrate. He likes the herbal concentrate.
Okay.
And he likes the tablets.
That's good. He likes the tablets.
Any suggestions for that?
Herbal Lifeline is real important for that. But also I would get him off of gluten completely.
Okay. Okay.
But the thing is that schizophrenia, I mean, it's difficult because it is a mental disorder. So, I mean, but you can do things to help maybe, and then, keep them away from sugar, keep them away from additives and preservatives. Those are very important things. And I personally, if it was my mother, I would be doing formula. How old is this child?
He'd be 25 in August.
Okay, he's grown. If it was my mother, I would do 2-3 times a day of the Formula 2.
Carla, what about Herbal Lifeline for that?
And I said Herbal Lifeline is very important. The omega-3s are very important. And for the it would be like 2-3 times a day minimum, if not three times a day. That used to be the maximum dosage that we used to use, was 3 times a day for the Herbal Lifeline, because that is very important for brain function, like I said earlier.
Okay.
NRG teacher.
And NRG, right?
No, NRG tablet, not the T. Right. NRG tablet.
Right.
Tablet. Yeah.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
There's a major difference between the tea and the tablets.
Which is what?
The NRG tablets, like for when you have people that have like allergies or asthma, or I can just tell you what happened to me when I ate some peanuts and they must have been moldy. And it was from downtown LA, and they were they roast them on the streets, and I didn't know that they were probably very old, and that's why they were roasting them, and they had mold in it, so I probably have an allergy to mold too. But what started, and I had eaten some carrots in those prepackaged things that had preservatives in them, which I didn't know at the time they had preservatives in them. So I was eating some carrots, and then I bought some of those peanuts, and I was eating some of the peanuts because I was trying not to have very many carbs. And all of a sudden, my throat literally closed. Anaphylactic shock is what was happening to my body. Yes. And I couldn't, I was like, I couldn't swallow. And I went in, it was completely tight. And I felt like I was choking. And I went into a store. I couldn't talk. I asked for some water. I tried to get some water. The water came back up because that's how closed my throat was. I said to my daughter, "Get me my NRG." I could barely get it. And she raced to the car, came back. I crushed up the NRG, stuck it underneath my tongue. It's sublingual. Put it underneath my tongue. Ow. And what the NRGs do is they support the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands put out antihistamines. Antihistamines is what uses against allergies. And it opened my throat within 5 minutes. But I could not. The guy at the store kept saying, "Should I call 911? Should I call 911?" And I was just trying to stay calm, because what happens in anaphylactic shock is you can really hyperventilate and then you go unconscious. So I was really I worked on being calm and breathing through my nose because my throat was completely closed.
Could you breathe through your nose?
I could breathe through my nose, but I could not do anything with my mouth. But I could breathe through my nose.
What's that I'm sorry, what's that word you're saying again?
Anaphylactic shock.
Anaphylactic.
That can cause death, actually. So the NRGs are pure guarana seeds from the Amazon rainforest. And it is also 96% caffeine free, and it works on the adrenal glands and balancing the adrenals, where the NRGT actually has caffeine added to it, and it's not pure guarana. It's not the same product.
The tea is not pure guarana?
Well, they've added, there's other stuff in there. It's not just the guarana seed.
Oh,
Where
I see.
the NRG tablet is the guarana seed, and that's all it is. So it literally saved my life. It literally saved my life.
Amazing.
Yes. So that's why kids that have hyperactivity, the NRGs will help balance their adrenals so they're not so hyperactive. It brings them to normal. Or if you are underactive or have what's called adrenal fatigue, which is a lot of Americans, it helps bring you to normal. So for some people, it will help actually balance them and give them more energy. Some people will help them sleep if they're AA type personality and their adrenals are overused. People can actually go to sleep with the NRG tablets because it's function. There you go, David. That's the difference.
Just one question here. People who have attention deficit, they have trouble focusing. So would this be a good product?
Number 1, give them the 25 question quiz. Number 2, you get them on the NRG tablet.
So that'll balance them out, you're saying?
It helps focus also. It helps with mental focus. See, the NRG tablets have been around since Herbalife started. They've been around 39 years. So the NRGs are an amazing, amazing product.
I don't think a lot of people know too much about it. I think
That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm talking. Because if we don't sell enough of the NRG tablets, that's when Herbalife takes away products. Because people are not aware of what they do.
Products too.
So NRGs and Shazandra, that combination, 2 Shazandra with 2 NRGs are excellent for people for asthma and allergies. And the reason why is the Shazandra helps with breathing and oxygenating the cells, and the NRGs deal with supporting the adrenal function.
What about Tanquay?
Dungquai is a natural muscle relaxant that can be used in place of aspirin.
My best
it
friend.
also helps with muscle strain. Men should be using it as well as women. It's not about just balancing hormones. Dungquai does so many different functions. So you use it in place of aspirin.
What I do.
Yep. Isn't NRG tablets great for horses too?
Horses?
Yeah, I heard that years ago.
I don't know anything about that, hon. I know nothing about that.
I for sure thought you would have.
I don't know about that. But I do know that my dogs use joint support and extra cal for hip dysplasia.
You know what? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Joint support. Joint support is still back order, I think, too.
Pardon?
I think that's still back order. Every time I try to buy it, it's always back order.
Joint support is an amazing product.
Yeah, it's back ordered till May 19th, Ro.
May 19th. Wow. Thank you.
So make sure you get a lot of it. Okay, anybody else have any other questions?
Yep.
This has been an in-depth product training.
Yeah,
You guys
I better say good night.
Yeah.
Are you happy you got this information tonight, you guys?
Fabulous.
Yes.
Can't wait for Beverly to do everything.
Thank you.
Did you learn something?
Always.
Everything. Yep. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Carla.
So, yeah, this is going to be part of my San Diego, and next week I'll do the other part.
Carla, I'm going to close my eyes and pass out now.
Okay, I know. We're done, girl.